Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have to talk about the current developments on American cable television. Because in addition to wins and trophies, there are events in the world of professional tennis that drastically alter the demographics of the sport. We recently witnessed the latter. If you have been monitoring the stats from Tennis Channel USA over the last 48 hours, you may have noticed a statistical anomaly, a spike, or a surge that contradicts the standard analytics of a mid-season broadcast. The Tennis Channel typically serves a highly specialized traditional tennis customer. The network has historically boasted a reach of over 60 million households across the United States. It is a world of technical study, legacy fan communities, and quiet admiration. However, that network was at the center of a digital storm this week, a viral phenomenon that took Santa Monica executives, analysts, and producers completely by surprise. This disturbance was caused by a 20-year-old southpaw from Quezon City, Philippines. Alexandra Eala. The headline that appears everywhere is accurate. Tennis Channel USA was taken aback. However, that would be an understatement. Not only were they amazed, they were overwhelmed. The network did more than just draw a typical segment viewership when they showcased Eala's remarkable run and recent breakthrough into the WDA Top 50. They were able to reach one of the most fervently loyal, technologically engaged, and passionate fan bases in the whole sports world. We are discussing the Filipino diaspora around the world. The aforementioned video segment, which was supposed to be a standard profile of an up-and-coming artist, did more than just appear on television. It moved. The Tennis Channel's brand experienced a level of engagement rarely seen outside of a Grand Slam final involving the Big Three as it was shredded, cut, shared, and exploded throughout social media channels. Engagement figures are becoming close to those of the sport's heavyweights. Alcaraz, Golf, and Swiatek. This wasn't an American champion, though. Alex Eala was the one. Why is this significant? Because tennis has been looking for the next big market for decades. Together with Lena Na, they examined China. With Naomi Osaka and Kei Nishikori, they examined Japan. However, Alex's current situation is different. It's natural. It is unmistakable and loud. When you have a 60 million home subscriber base, all of a sudden a sizable portion of that audience intensity is devoted to a single player who represents a country yearning for a global athletic icon. You have the makings of a viral explosion. We are going to do something out of the ordinary today. We will report more than simply the score. We are exploring in great detail. We will dismantle this phenomenon one piece at a time. We will examine Alex's journey from the shell court to Manila to the stunning hard courts of the US Open. We will look into the Rafa Natal factor. Her steel-like mentality was sharpened by her academy training. We'll keep an eye on her game's technical development, which has enabled her to defeat Grand Slam winners. Importantly, we will look into why this particular Tennis Channel viral moment is a sign of things to come for women's tennis. Alex has awakened the United States. The 60 million subscribers have been shown. Who she is no longer the question. How far she can go is the question. Hold on tight. The deep dive is this. To understand the seriousness of what we are witnessing on the Tennis Channel, let's frame this viral moment. You must understand the gap that Alexandra Eala is trying to fill. Southeast Asian tennis has been searching for a player who can go beyond a regional circuit for a long time. We have witnessed exceptional players. We have undoubtedly witnessed journeymen and journeywomen who have established respectable jobs. However, a real, legitimate singles competitor on the WDA Tour is a unicorn. They probably anticipated a typical thank you post when the Tennis Channel aired their section. A section for players to view. They were confronted with a sense of pride in their country. You must keep in mind that when Manny Pacquiao fights, the Philippines ceases to exist. Every time a player with even a trace of Filipino ancestry on the court, this nation flocks to the NBA's common areas. Therefore, when Alex Eala, a native talent who speaks a language, carries a flag, and publicly displays her lineage by wearing Segeta hair ties at Wimbledon, is featured on a major U.S. network, the response is more than just applause. It has to do with ownership. The supporters believe they are a part of the adventure. And what a trip it has been. It wasn't an isolated incident that went viral. It is the culmination of an arduous, brutal, and majestic ascent that started many years ago. Let's start at the beginning. It would be impossible to discuss Alex Eala without mentioning Manacor, Spain, the Rafa Nadal Academy. That institution is the source of a certain lineage. You can see the essence of that academy when you watch Eala play, particularly in these current highlights. It is seen in the top spins weight. The inability to give up on a ball is an example of it. Ella recently verified a story regarding her practice sessions with Rafael Nadal. For a moment, picture that. As a teenager, you are engaged in combat with the king of clay. He advised her to surround herself with kind people. In the brutal world of professional tennis, such advice might be the difference between burnout and longevity. It seems simple, almost corny. Nadal's most recent changes to her style of play demonstrate her masculinity. The difference between her performance in the 2025 to 2026 season and her matches from the 2022 U.S. Open Juniors, where she became the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles title, is astounding. She could rely on grit and consistency in the juniors. Grit is sufficient in the professional ranks when facing strong hitters like Sabalenka or Jessica Pegula. You have to be armed. This new weapon, particularly her lefty forehand, is demonstrated in the widely shared videos from the Tennis Channel. In women's tennis, being a lefty is already a significant tactical advantage. It provides access to perspectives that. In late 2025, the plot of her career took a sharp shift. The goal was redemption for Ella and her core fanbase, but the Southeast Asian Games gold medal would not be familiar to an American audience watching the Tennis Channel. It was obligation. She was in control when it came to playing for the flag. Not a single set was lost by her. The triumph was a pressure cooker. She was quite well liked. Failure would have come from not achieving the goal. You must possess the mental toughness required to handle that expectation if you want to win matches on the WTA Tour. And once more, let's discuss the viral factor. The social media section. These days, a player's personality matters almost as much as their backhand. Ella's ability to maintain equilibrium is improving. She has a clear voice. She is humble. But she is quite proud. It was a masterclass in branding when Sagwa donned the Philippine national flower at Wimbledon. Whether intentional or not, it gave the audience a symbol. It gave the story a visual hook. The Tennis Channel's season synopsis emphasized these personal elements. The bond and shared history-making with Zion Samez, a Turkish footballer. These tales resonate with a global audience that longs for connection. I now want to focus on the technical analysis of why her game is so popular on TV, which contributes to the explanation of the enormous viewership. The visual appeal of A's game is good. It's neat. She doesn't make many grunts. Instead, she moves fluidly, which looks good in slow motion. Motion repeats the mainstay of sports broadcasting. Later on, her backhand is becoming a defining move. Highlight reels are created when you have a signature shot, which attracts subscribers. It's a cycle of visibility, but we also need to be critical. If we didn't take into account the hardest, this in-depth analysis wouldn't be accurate. Viral fame has two sides. Thanks to the Tennis Channel segment, she now has millions of new fans and, as a result, millions of new critics. The calibrated expectation is now the top 50. It is no longer a teaching moment to lose in the first round. It's a disruption. There is a lot of strain on her. We saw this with Emma Raducanu. We saw this with Osaka. The tour's goal quickly becomes the media's favorite. Thanks to the Tennis Channel's 60 million household viewers, Ella is now in the living rooms of the typical American sports fan. She is no longer just a Filipino hero. In tennis, she is beginning to get recognition. This changes the way opponents prepare for her. They'll look into her more carefully. If we are being analytical, they will go for her second serve, which is still the area that needs the most attack. Her kick serve is effective on clay, but if it is not positioned correctly, it may sit up on the U's fast, hard courts. The S swing. The viral scrutiny will highlight these shortcomings. However, the following counterargument is the source of the optimism surrounding this news cycle. Eala has shown an extraordinary capacity for adaptation at the age of 20. Watch her match versus Jessica Pegula in Miami. Pegula is a flat, hard, low machine. That speed was too fast for me to keep up. She was not dismissed by the court. Despite losing, she participated in the competition. With the match, she proved she belonged in the 1,000-level events. This is known to the Tennis Channel analysts. As a result, they are marketing her products. They're betting that her stock will rise. They are hoping that if she performs well at Indian Wells or the US Open, that 60 million reach would turn into gold in terms of ratings. We also need to talk about the Asian swing. Despite the fact that tennis is a global sport, the Asian swing at the end of the year is sometimes overlooked by Western media. Eala is changing that dynamic. She is currently the face of that region. If the tennis broadcaster wants to keep viewers during the Asian swing, Eala is essential. She is the bridge. She makes a connection between the US and the competitions in Tokyo, Beijing, and Hong Kong. The prime-time viewers. With this viral moment, the network is, in a way, acknowledging the global shift in tennis interest. Let's take a closer look at the surprise element of a headline. What surprised the USA Tennis Channel? It draws attention to a gap in Western media analytics. Traditional metrics often fail to account for the diaspora effect. They determine the level of interest in the region. They gauge populations of wealthier, older tennis players.